final score. Hartlepool United 0, Wrexham 1. Sorry, this is an early morning job rather than on the night of the match. But we had I did a late night YouTube question and answer session on the club channel, which was brilliant. The questions were fantastic. And I meant I didn't have time to do this afterwards. So, a great win for Wrexham. We had to work hard for it. But after the results that we had leading up to that 3-week break, it was crucial that we came away from Hartlepool with something. To come away with a clean sheet and 3 points, absolutely fantastic. We lined up with a few changes. Jeff Horsfield coming in at right back, Jordan Ponticelli and Paul Rutherford coming back from injury, which was good news. And we had a poor first half, in all honesty. The die was cast after just about 50 seconds when of the high ball in the air. Vassal, at first glance, looked like an error by him, but it might not have been because he was jumping with Mason Bloomfield. Bloomfield actually picked up an injury in the challenge, which led to him going off. And the ball bounced kindly for Hartlepool. They had men over on the breakaway. The ball was fed to Molyneux in a left channel, who was consistently their most threatening player, and his shot was blocked. Wrexham had an opportunity after 10 minutes. Thomas doing well on the left-hand side, bringing the ball down, feeding it inside to Rutherford, who's making one of those typical out-to-in runs into the box. Shut up, Siri. Right, okay. Beg my pardon. My watch is trying to be an idiot. Successfully as well, to be fair to him. You know, I mean, my watch, like myself, have high standards. There, it's off. Anyway, Thomas fed it into the box. Rutherford, nice little layoff back into the path of Thomas. And Thomas, from 15 yards, hit the ball powerfully, but it was well blocked. Hartlepool broke immediately from that, and it took an excellent interception by Jamie Record at the near post to stop them having a tap-in. So the first 10 minutes, very scrappy, but then Hartlepool started to get control. It was a little bit, in some ways, like the Solihull Cup match, in that it just felt maybe we looked a man light in midfield and were struggling to control the ball. Certainly we weren't getting close enough to Hartlepool. We were dropping off and defending fairly well, but we weren't really getting in amongst them and forcing them backwards, and they were able to dictate the play. And they started to carve out chances. Firstly, a wonderful cross from the edge of the area by Holohan. The angle was very difficult to put anything meaningful in. He managed to do it, and Molyneux arriving at the far post, 6 yards out, headed it over. It probably should have done better. Although, to be fair, it came over Horsfield's head at the very last moment. Maybe he didn't quite see it. And then, around the half-hour mark, a bizarre spell of Leighton against the world. Firstly, I assume he made a good save. I say I assume because the stream buffered and I could only hear the commentary. But it sounds like he made a good save. Bless him. He certainly made a good save a minute later when the ball's played down the left-hand side. Molyneux looked offside, but the flag stayed down. He got round the back of the defence, pulled it back. Crawford, all on his own 15 yards out, hit it with a lot of power to Leighton's left. Leighton did brilliantly to get across and parry it. And within 30 seconds, like I said, Leighton against the world, Leighton had our, second shot on target. He was kicking massively all through the game. Generally not to great effect. It was bouncing through to the keeper. This one nearly bounced over Ravas, the keeper. It was a massive hoof, and Ravas is a very tall goalkeeper. Probably a good job because he slightly misjudged the bounce and had to get stretching upwards to actually grab hold of it. But by this point, Wrexham, we were struggling and having to defend for our lives. There weren't many outlets, really, although, as I'll mention later, Kwame Thomas was outstanding up front, winning his headers, holding the ball up superbly, but we were struggling to really get too much support for him. And in the closing stages, Hartlepool started to go close again. Firstly, it was a nice spell of patient passing. Wrexham with good shaping around the box, but the ball was fed out to Molyneux, and he cut inside, beat Horsfield a bit too easily for my liking, and then ripped a fine curling shot. Leighton at full stretch, couldn't quite reach it. It clipped the bottom of the right post and bounced away. Real good fortune for us there. And then in the last minute of the 45, Crawford riding a weak tackle from Record, driving forwards 25 yards out, drilling a terrific shot. It was arrowing into the bottom left corner. But luckily for us, Leighton again got round to make an excellent save and push it round the post. Funnily enough, against the run of play, it was actually Wrexham who had the last chance of the half. I say chance. maybe that's a bit generous. Record did well, driving down the left and then backheeling it to Young. He whipped in a lovely cross, and Ponticelli about 10 yards out at the near post. I mean, the ball just arrived all wrong for him. So it dropped about hip height, and he was back to goal. And he managed to improvise a cute little backheel flick, which went over the keeper and dipped just wide of the far post. Would have been a hell of a goal if he'd scored it. Anyway, the first half, as I said, wasn't good. I think it's pretty clear that Dean Keats got about his men at half-time and reminded them they needed to get close to their men. The distances were much better in the second half for Wrexham. We pressed well. We put Hartlepool off their rhythm, and we were on the front foot from the very start of the half. We had an opportunity when Young managed to play a nice ball over the top. Thomas, again, held it up really well. Laid it off to Ponticelli. The one chance Ponticelli had, really proper chance, 20 yards out, but in a bit of space. But he needed to hit it with his right foot, hit it with the outside of his foot. Didn't get the direction, and it was easy enough for Ravas. We did get the breakthrough, and it was a breakthrough we deserved after the way we started the second half, and it was a fine goal. Again, the ball played was the box. Again, Thomas nodding the ball down accurately, and this time Durrell getting on the edge of it. Great first touch to knock it out from between his feet and from the edge of the box. Typical Durrell finish, just blasted it. Beautiful, pure strike inside the right post. And Wrexham had a most valuable lead. Durrell's first goal for Wrexham since, I think it was 2014. Yeah, 2014 against Altrincham. Hartlepool tried to hit back immediately and were helped by the referee, who gave, to my mind, an absolutely ludicrous free kick on the left corner of the box. Durrell, I thought, did extremely well to get between man and ball and run it out for a goal kick, and remarkably, the referee penalised him. He also let them take the free kick, for my eyes, a few yards further out than it ought to have been, which, as it was on the side of the box, meant they had a shooting angle. And Featherstone went for it with a good strike, looking for the top right corner, and just missed the target. Pardon me. Wrexham, though, were still making chances and had a good opportunity to go 2-0 up when the ball bounced loose in the penalty area. Durrell and Ponticelli about 10 yards out, both in space, seemed to get in each other's way rather, and neither of them managed to get the shot off. When the ball was half cleared, though, Wrexham did well to fight and win it back, and Young, typically driving into the box, had a powerful shot from 15 yards, which was well blocked. However, that was pretty much it from Wrexham from an attacking point of view. Last 15 minutes, Hartlepool threw the kitchen sink at us, and we defended it pretty well. Now, it was tense to watch, I've got to admit. We defended quite deep and defended the penalty area. Looking back on the chances we made, actually, maybe it wasn't so tense. They didn't make many opportunities, really, Hartlepool. So maybe we were fairly comfortable, to be fair. But in the last 15, they did put pressure on. Yusuf came on to relieve Ponticelli up front. He's put in a good 72 minutes, Ponticelli, good to see after his injuries. But he wasn't able to get that involved in the game because Hartlepool, as I said, were pushing on. A long ball over the top. Leighton just managed to beat Oates to it on the outside of the penalty area. Then ball played in, a lovely flick by Molyneux on the right side of the box, and it was an opportunity from 18 yards for Parkhouse, the substitute, who I've got to say came on in the 6th minute for Bloomfield and really had a stinker. He pulled the ball weakly well wide. Then it was Houlihan with a good driving run into the right channel, but the angle for the shot was difficult. He hit it and it was deflected into the side netting for a corner. And, well, at this point I was sitting there thinking, well, one very good sign is we've defended set pieces really well. There have been no alarms from set pieces, but in the last 5 minutes there were. The first one, 5 minutes left, a corner played in, a huge scramble. The ball ricocheted around and then rolled up against the post before being scrambled clear once more. Eventually, and this was the strange bit, Leighton was able to run up and grab hold of the ball and then had a Yeovil flashback moment. And I'm not quite sure what he was looking to do, but he with players all round him, he put the ball down on the floor and immediately lost the ball. It was a dangerous moment. Fosu realised Leighton was completely stranded on the edge of his area and tried to hit an immediate shot. Luckily for Wrexham, we managed to block it. And there was another dangerous moment 3 minutes later, a corner coming in, Leighton coming forward, didn't get there. Wrexham managed to clear. I think Leighton was fouled, to be frank, but the ref didn't give it. I wasn't thrilled at the referee, to be honest. And we survived. In the last minute, Hall Johnson came on for Durrell, just to stiffen the defence up. He did his best to try and get booked, but didn't manage it. and we held on for a huge win. I mean, going through the players, apart from that strange aberration when he'd put the ball down, Lainton was outstanding. Made a lot of fine saves. Across the back, yeah, they were solid. Kelleher, again, did what it says on the tin for Salah. That strange moment in the first minute, but apart from that, was sound and his pace was useful on occasions. Records at left back, yep, again, did well. Going forwards, maybe he could be more adventurous, but he certainly defended well. Horsfield. Horsfield, I mean, remember, he's been out with injury and different things for a long time. And in the first half, I thought, oh, I'm not sure here. But the second half, he really got back to in the swing of things, I thought. Very impressive in the second half. Midfield again, Harris. Lots of good tackling, trying to grab hold of the game by the scruff of the neck. It was difficult for him on occasion. Like I said, sometimes we looked at man short in midfield. Young, full of industry, played some good balls into the area. Probably he was the player who gave the best service to the forward players. Rutherford, a lot of endeavour, really didn't make much impact in the first half. In the second half, did more so, cutting in size and again popping up in those unexpected central positions. And Durrell, early in the games, was getting into some decent shooting positions and they were all getting blocked. He was in and out of the match, but that goal was magnificent. And he was constantly looking to play the ambitious pass and get things going. Up front, Ponticelli didn't threaten too much, but it was pleasing to see him get that time in his legs. He did okay. But saving the best till last, Thomas was outstanding. Thomas, absolutely outstanding. Even when we were playing badly in the first half, he was impressive. Making the ball stick, winning almost all of his headers, winning knockdowns in the box. He caused all sorts of problems for Hartlepool and was by some distance, with Lainton the only other contender, man of the match. A brilliant performance by him. So a huge win for Wrexham. And so, yeah, the table looks a bit better now with a few games in hand that if we can capitalise upon would catapult us up pretty nicely. With the final score of Hartlepool United 0, Wrexham 1, I'm Mark Griffiths from the Wrexham AFC media team.
Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe as well so you don't miss out on any of our content, and click the bell to get notifications.